Hey, what's going on everybody? Jason here, and welcome back to another Black Ops Cold War Zombies video. Today, I'm going to be ranking all of the round-based maps from worst to best. There are only 4 round-based maps in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and to be totally honest with you guys, I don't hate any of these maps. So when I say worst to best, what I really mean is I'm categorizing these maps based off of which maps I would prefer to play. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the ranking. Coming in at the number 4 spot, I have Firebase Z. So like I stated earlier, I don't hate any of these maps, I just think Firebase Z is okay. A few reasons why I think Firebase Z is just okay is because number 1, the Ray K is kinda mediocre, the mimic step of the Easter egg is really annoying, and the dartboard step to build the Ray K is also really annoying. Not to mention that on the assault waves after round 30, Orda can show up. Now I don't necessarily have a problem with Orda showing up to make things harder, but when you get into the higher rounds, Orda can definitely be annoying. Now having said that, I do actually like the idea of having assault waves. It's a fun little challenge round to break the flow of your gameplay. It's just that when Orda spawns in on round 50, 60, or 70 and you have triple pack-punched weapons and you're barely doing anything against Orda, that's where I have a problem. Even a triple pack-punched Ray K isn't that great against Orda. Now I mentioned the mimic step of the Easter egg a few seconds ago, and I have to be honest with you guys, that is one of my least favorite Easter egg steps in any Call of Duty Zombies map. In addition, the dartboard step for building the Ray K is one of my least favorite steps for a Wonder Weapon build quest. Both of these steps to me are very tedious, and when I have to do them, I don't look forward to it. Now, having said that, the rest of the Easter egg for Firebase Z is okay. Some of the steps can be kind of annoying, but for the most part, it's not that bad of an Easter egg. And the same thing goes for the Ray K build quest. The rest of it isn't that bad. One thing that I do actually really like about Firebase Z is Dr. Peck. Dr. Peck's character is very lively. Yeah, he's kind of an asshole and he's very arrogant, but that's what you like about his character. And even though Dr. Peck is an asshole, he's a likable asshole because he has such a rich character. He's one of those villains that you love to hate. And when you're interacting with Dr. Peck throughout the Easter egg, it makes parts of the Easter egg that much better. You feel immersed in the Dark Ether storyline rather than just some random character going around and doing random Easter egg steps. Overall, Firebase Z is not a bad map. It's definitely not my favorite map in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and it certainly isn't the worst Zombies map I've ever played. Firebase Z to me is a middle tier map, and for that reason, it comes in at the number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I have Maschine. As I'm sure you're all aware, Maschine is the first round-based map in Black Ops Cold War Zombies that not only introduced us to the Dark Ether storyline, but it also introduced us to Black Ops Cold War Zombies as a whole. Originally, I was actually going to put Maschine below Firebase Z, but one major change happened recently that made it move up to the number 3 spot. And that major change is the ability to pack-a-punch the DIE Shockwave and all of the upgrade variants. Before we had the ability to pack-a-punch the DIE and all of the upgrade variants, I thought they were some of the weakest wonder weapons in the game. However, now that we can pack-a-punch the DIE Shockwave and all of the upgrade variants, it gives them a lot more utility. Maschine's Easter egg is simple, and I don't mind it being simple because it's a fun Easter egg too. Not only do you have fun parts of the Easter egg gameplay-wise, but for the Dark Ether storyline as a whole, there are good storyline beats. Mainly because as we learn more about Project Endstation, we get to learn more and more about why this place is so sinister. In addition, learning more about Project Endstation and Dr. Vogel also gives the Dark Ether storyline a ton of depth. Project Endstation is the catalyst as to why there are outbreak zones opening around the world, and Maschine is a great introduction to the Dark Ether storyline and why this place is so important. Also, Orlov's backstory is a very sad and tragic backstory. It gives more humanity to the Dark Ether storyline, and now we can relate to people who have been directly affected by this catastrophe. Now moving on to the layout of the map, it's a very simple layout, kinda like Firebase Z and how simple that is, but Maschine's is way more simple. This map feels like a survival map, but with a little bit of extra flavor. All of the areas flow together really well, and there are nice open spots for you to hoard up zombies. The dilapidated nature of the environment around you definitely definitely makes you feel like something important happened at this location. It feels like Die Maschine has stood the test of time, and time has not been very kind to this location. I only have two major complaints about Die Maschine: the Megatons and the Plague Hounds. The Plague Hounds are very annoying. They jump every 5 seconds, they hit you constantly, and they jump at you from such a far range that it doesn't even seem physically possible. And not to mention, they leave behind a noxious gas whenever you kill them, and that can be kind of annoying as well. The Megatons aren't as annoying as the Plague Hounds are in my opinion, but the long-ranged acid attacks can definitely suck. Luckily, there are remedies to take out these annoying enemies, which are the DIE Shockwave and all the upgrade variants, and their Pack-a-Punched variants, and the Ray Gun. So it's not the end of the world that the Plague Hound and the Megaton are on this map, I just think they're kind of annoying. And this is why I like Die Maschine more than Firebase Z. The wonder weapons on this map feel powerful. The Ray K on Firebase Z falls off really quickly, and when you have the DIE Shockwave, especially the DIE Electrobolt, it's really powerful against the Megatons. And not to mention, the Ray Gun is on Die Maschine and it's not on Firebase Z, so there's more wonder weapon variety on this map as opposed to Firebase Z. And I really appreciate that about Die Maschine, whereas on Firebase Z, it's either use the Ray K or you don't get to use any wonder weapons. Overall, I think Die Maschine is a very basic map with a lot of fun elements, and it comes in at the number 3 spot. At the number 2 spot, I have Mauer der Toten. Mauer der Toten is a great map. It has a dark, creepy, eerie atmosphere, and the map is really fun to traverse. There are a lot of different areas. And that's what makes this map so unique. Every sector of the map is different in its own way. Not to mention, connecting these areas with the zipline is a creative way to transition from area to area. Mauer der Toten gives us the Omega operatives to speak to through the intercom, as opposed to the Requiem operatives. The entire Omega cast of Kravchenko, Dr. Peck, Dr. Jaeger, and Gorev are all really well written on this map. They're condescending, they're belittling, they think they're much better than you are because of the conflict between East and West, and you are forced to do their bidding as they have you under their thumb, or else Raptor 1 dies. Treyarch did a great job building up the tension on Mauer der Toten, especially because the community loves Raptor 1. And this mutual animosity between Omega and Requiem carries out throughout the entirety of the map. Mauer der Toten as a whole has a ton of character from the atmosphere and the actual characters that are in the map. This also includes Valentina, the main antagonist of Mauer der Toten. Yes, Omega and the Forsaken are the actual bad guys of the Dark Aether storyline in Black Ops Cold War, but this gives Valentina's character a story arc to develop her character, and she becomes this map's specific antagonist. Tricked by the Forsaken, who is posing as her father, Dr. Vogel, Valentina believes it is her birthright to bring an undead army into the world. She betrays her comrades at Omega Group, and Omega is getting desperate, so they end up capturing the Requiem operators and forcing them to carry out this operation against Valentina. And as you are progressing through the Easter egg in Mauer der Toten, it gives the Dark Aether storyline a lot more depth. And speaking of the Easter egg is very fun, but challenging at the same time. The boss fight with Valentina feels like a true video game boss fight, and some of the steps of the Easter egg aren't that easy either. Now, it might be a short Easter egg just like the majority of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, but it's still really fun. This Easter egg incorporates basically everything on the map into one neatly packaged quest. And one of those things involved in the Easter egg is the CRBRS, or the Cerberus, the wonder weapon of this map. The Cerberus is a fantastic wonder weapon. The base version of the Cerberus and the upgrade variants all feel really unique, and they're fun to use. This weapon packs a punch. No pun intended, even though you can pack-a-punch the Cerberus, but I digress. In all seriousness, I believe the Cerberus is the best wonder weapon in this game. You can take this thing to the extremely high rounds, and it's still going to be outputting a ton of damage. In addition, I think the quest that you do to get the Cerberus is really fun. No monotony, no tediousness, it's just an overall really fun quest. It has some fun gimmicks to it, which makes it enjoyable to me. Another great feature of Mauer der Toten is Klaus. Klaus is a robot with a personality that assists you throughout Mauer der Toten. He does Easter egg steps for you, kills zombies for you, revives you when you go down, and he just overall has a great personality. It's fun to listen to Klaus's sarcasm, it just adds more to the atmosphere of Mauer der Toten. Klaus is basically another version of the Civil Protector from Shadows of Evil, but in my personal opinion, I think he's cooler. Other miscellaneous things that make Mauer der Toten a great map include things like the dig sites and the death strips near the Pack-a-Punch machine. You have to dig through these Origin-style dig sites collecting salvage, equipment, and ammo, and eventually you will get a part for the Easter egg. And in those death strips are guard towers that will shoot you on sight if you cross the path of the spotlight. You also have the manhole Easter egg, where if you throw enough equipment down the manhole, it will give you a Casimir, and even on rare occasions, it will give you a perk. You also have the Easter egg with Mr. Peaks, the blue bunny, at the club. You have to do a lockdown sequence, and once you're done with that, you get to choose between 3 doors, and behind one of those doors is a grand prize. And that grand prize being a free wonder weapon, free perks, and a golden chest filled with a bunch of good loot. Overall, Mauer der Toten is a great map with a ton of fun things to do on this map, and that is why it comes in at the number 2 spot. And coming in at the number 1 spot, the map that I believe is the best map in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, you guessed it, it's Forsaken. Forsaken is one of the most unique maps in Zombies history. Let's start at the beginning. No, really, the actual beginning of the map. The first room of Forsaken is very unique. It's essentially another no man's land from Moon, but honestly, in my opinion, I think it's done better. Zombies will continue to spawn in, and rounds will continue to increase as you stay in that starting room without using the teleporter. The main difference between this and No Man's Land is that on No Man's Land, you have barely anything to work with, whereas on Forsaken, you have an arsenal, a crafting table, and death perception in the first room. Theoretically, this should be easier than No Man's Land, but this first room has a fair degree of difficulty. As the rounds get higher and higher, you have abominations, disciples, tempests, and manglers all spawning in, and it makes this close quarters first room very hectic, which means you have to use all of your resources to the best of your ability if you are going to survive in this first room. Now, moving past the first room into the facility is full of character and it is very vibrant. There are many unique areas to explore on Forsaken. You have Anytown, USA, and the numerous shops that line the streets. You have the bunker and the amplifier room, and you have the observation tower. All of these areas feel unique in their own way. For example, the observation tower gives you a break from the zombies. However, don't stay there too long or else you will die of radiation. A simple balance to an area that is supposed to give you a break from the zombies and help you upgrade your arsenal because the Pack-a-Punch is in the observation tower. The stores in Anytown, USA have a ton of character. It's very believable that these mock-up stores would be something you would find in a small American town. You have Beach Pizza, you have the bar, you have the video store, the arcade, and of course, Burger Town, just to name a few. As you're walking through the streets of Anytown, USA, you can't help but feel a little bit of nostalgia for a classic American town. However, you know in the back of your mind that this mock-up American town was created for nefarious reasons. And that dichotomy of the atmosphere of Forsaken in Anytown is what truly makes this map unique. And as you're walking through the map, progressing to each new area, it feels like the map is telling a story. Each new area progressively giving you more and more details about the map and the overall story. In addition, every area of the map serves a purpose. There is no wasted space on Forsaken, whether that area of the map is used for the Easter egg or maybe a side Easter egg. And speaking of the Easter egg, once again, this Easter egg is fun and simple, but like Mauer der Toten, it definitely has a challenging aspect to it. And even though the Forsaken Easter egg, in my opinion, is the fastest Easter egg to complete in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, it does a lot in such a short period of time. And because the Easter egg quest is short, you make it to the climax much quicker than a normal map. And speaking of the climax, the climactic boss fight against the Forsaken is awesome. You have to help Samantha Maxis take down one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And it's a very creative boss fight too. You have to charge up Samantha Maxis so that she charges up a laser, and you blast the Forsaken with a powerful laser beam. But in order for you to do the Easter egg, you are going to have to acquire the wonder weapon of the map, the Chrysalax. The Chrysalax is one of the coolest wonder weapons in Call of Duty Zombies history. It is a dark ether battle axe that switches into an SMG. And even though the SMG version of the Chrysalax is not as powerful as the actual axe version of the Chrysalax, it's still fun to use. It's powerful and it takes down special enemies in no time. However, I do have to say the wonder weapon quest for the Chrysalax is okay. I don't really find myself doing it too often. And speaking of quests on the map, Forsaken has some of the best side Easter eggs in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. You have the arcade machines, you have the pizza delivery Easter egg, you have the Perkaholic Easter egg, and of course you have the Bubby Burger Town Easter egg. This is another reason why Forsaken is such a unique map. It has really creative side Easter eggs. And this adds to the replayability of the map. Will you or will you not get the ray gun when you do the pizza delivery quest? What kind of loot will you get when you do the Derizen Drac pinball machine, and so on and so forth? One complaint that I see frequently about Forsaken is how many special enemies spawn in. I personally don't mind the amount of special enemies that spawn in on Forsaken due to the fact that there are powerful wonder weapons to help remedy that. The Chrysalax and the ray gun in conjunction will help you take out these special enemies and make it to a high round. As far as Dark Ether lore and world building is concerned, Forsaken does a really good job at doing that. Not only is the ending cutscene of Forsaken truly something to behold with the return of Richtofen, but it also establishes the sequel to Black Ops Cold War Zombies. In addition, the intel that you collect on Forsaken helps establish the world of Vanguard Zombies. Speaking of the story, the character interactions between Kravchenko, Peck, Weaver, Dr. Gray, all of the characters that we've seen thus far in Black Ops Cold War Zombies are very compelling. Similar to the character interactions on Mauer der Toten, the character interactions on Forsaken give this map a ton of character. Overall, Forsaken is one of the most unique maps in Call of Duty Zombies. The wonder weapon is fun to use, there are a ton of side quests, and the Easter egg is fun to do. All of these reasons and more is why Forsaken comes in at the #1 spot as the best Zombies map in Black Ops Cold War. And that, guys, is going to be the end of today's video. What do you guys think about my round-based map ranking in Black Ops Cold War Zombies? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy and you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe if you're a brand new viewer. Also, don't forget to check out all the links down below in the description so you stay up to date with everything that I do. And with that said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in this crazy world, and I'll see you guys next time.